Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast, and today we're doing a little bit of a review of a Pokemon Legends ZA rumor. This is actually a rumor riddle collage, kind of a throwback style of post. This was on 4chan, and there's a bunch of suggestions here for what we might see in Legends ZA pertaining to Mega Evolution, the plot, what we're going to be doing, like the activities that we're going to be doing, right, in the game, what story characters we're going to be seeing. So let's get right into this. My name is DustyGogoat. I'm also with TraderLumi.
Hello.
And SoulSilverArt.
What's up?
The first image we see on the left-hand side of this collage is the female protagonist, as well as Doggo Zygarde. Yeah. on top of the bodies of Scooby-Doo and Shaggy.
I didn't even notice Shaggy.
And I think what are you guys taking out of this? Because I think on the surface, all I'm seeing is what this means is we're going to be partnering throughout Lumio City with Zygarde as our trusty, good boy.
I think a little more than that, though. Like, you can read into it and say...
Because they're friends.
And on the other side, though, you have the, detectives.
Yep.
That says to me that, like, Emma, who, was in X and Y, she is kind of working with Looker, and Looker ends up leaving the Looker Bureau to Emma at the end of X and Y, in the post-game specifically. That tells me she's going to be a big part of this game. That was, in my opinion, that was straight up teased in the trailer for Legends ZA, because at the end 100%. They showed the Looker Bureau, and you could see like a little picture of Mimi, the Emma's Esper, on the desk. And so this would tell me that they're solving some stuff in Lumio City. They're trying to investigate something, and that who else solves mysteries? Well, of course, our good friend Shaggy and Scooby-Doo do as well. So
with the mystery machine and the rest of the crew over there.
I didn't think about it like that, but they could both be, because they're both facing the Fight Club part about this. I was thinking about them individually, like each section is something else. I think it is, each section is one of its own things, but both of them could be looking at the Fight Club thing. I do think that the Scooby-Doo-ness of the two of them is that, like, Zygarde, well, you and Zygarde are friends, and you're trying to solve a mystery. Basically, that's
maybe alongside Looker and what's her name, Emma. Perhaps.
Maybe.
Right. Mm-hmm. And what they're both looking at is the second image here, and it's an image of Brad Pitt. His face is the Mega Evolution symbol, and it says the first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club, which is a famous line from the movie Fight Club. But
which Lumi has never seen.
Really?
True, I've seen Fight Club.
Oh, dang. I was just throwing it out there to bash him, but I was like, he's too young. He's never seen it.
It's been a while, but I've seen it.
Yeah, it has been a while for me. I think I watched it quite a bit. I think I had the DVD.
Do we need to rewatch Fight Club?
I think we got to do that on Patreon.
I did it to myself.
Movie night on Patreon.
Dude, that'd be so much fun. Honestly, they would love that. Anyways, what I'm getting from this is that Mega Evolution is going to be a big mystery. It's like you don't talk about it. I think there's something going on. I think there's something being hidden.
This is tied to the promotion matches. We got that little stinger at the end of the ZA trailer, and I think that's the Fight Club, right? Is that someone's organizing these matches, and then that's going to be somehow tied to Mega Evolution. If I wanted to try to read into that, then I would say I've thought for a while now that maybe there will be some things from the XYZ anime that would kind of tie into this. And because I think XYZ was pulling a lot of stuff from a Scrap Pokemon Z game, and I think that this game might also pull some stuff from a Scrap Pokemon Z game. And throughout the story of XYZ, Alon is tasked by the villains, Team Flare, to participate in battles against strong Pokemon like Mega Evolutions and Ash Greninja. And Alon thinks it's like for research, but what he's actually doing is he is basically accumulating infinity energy for Team Flare that they are ultimately going to use to do some really bad stuff. And I could see it being a similar thing here where like they're like, hey, do these promotion matches. And you know what? We encourage you to Mega Evolve your Pokemon during these matches. And the whole time they're just siphoning energy off of you. and using that. I could see it being that way. Also, too, if you kind of wanted to read into the Shaggy and Scooby-Doo thing, often in an episode of Scooby-Doo, Shaggy and Scooby end up like finding themselves like in the midst of it, like more so than the other characters.
And they eat a lot of Scooby snacks.
That's what's happening here.
Just
is
popping
that we're
those Mega
in the
Stones.
Fight Club, and we're like basically like I could see it being that way, where we get involved with this Fight Club, these promotion matches, and then only later Emma like approaches us and is like, "Hey, that thing you're in is super shady, but actually don't get out of it. You're gonna be our man on the inside." You know.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's exactly what this is about. This is definitely about the promotional matches.
And
I think it's just like fighting megas or fighting something at night or whatever, because that's what happens in the trailer.
And you could use that to kind of connect it to the blurb below it, where it's talking about, that's a line from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where it's saying, couldn't we use the energy to improve the lives of people in Pokemon? Thanks to Infinity Energy, Devon was able, that's the Devon Corporation, was able to become one of the top industries in Hoenn. So I think like the idea is there, that's where we're getting that connection of, they're siphoning off this Infinity Energy. They're telling you, oh yeah, it's to help the city. We're doing this Lumio City redevelopment project, but there's actually perhaps something more sinister going on, or I would say at best something that's like it's not intentionally sinister, but it's causing some damage. You know what I mean? Like like kind of like how like Chairman Rose was not like an objectively evil dude. He just was way too worried about a problem and going about a solution in a horrible way. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would say a similar
which
thing
made
to
him
that.
evil. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to move to that one a little bit.
So the next,
no,
absolutely. The next collage, the next image is a screenshot of, I don't know what the character is, but it's from Five Nights at Freddy. And overlaid on top is the T-pose model of a Lysandre. And it says, I always come back.
So I did Five Nights at Freddy character is the main villain.
Okay. Yeah, I did some research on this.
He can't
I'm going to be honest, the lore to Five Nights at Freddy, probably because I haven't played those games, is confusing to me. But from my understanding, and I'm sure the comments will correct where I'm wrong here, the villain is like believed to be dead, but he actually ends up coming back as like basically one of the animatronics. Like he's been like his body has been like reworked into
that's so cool.
An animatronic
but the thing is,
suit.
Okay, so there is a lot of lore. I once watched a whole like day's worth of trying to figure out what's going on in Five Nights at Freddy's, which is hilarious. But basically, like, they're all dead. The ones that get inside of those animatronic things.
Yeah, they're like dead kids, right?
Actually dead.
What?
Yeah, but they're actually dead.
Yeah,
and they actually become like their spirit is like inside of those things, basically. So this guy was like the main guy.
What if Lysandre is resurrected and fueled by Mega Energy?
Yeah.
And Mega Energy, like the Mega Evolution Dex entries are always talking about how pained the Pokemon is. Like, what is more painful than being resurrected, right? It's like inhumane. It's a cult, right? Zombies.
Yeah.
It's honestly, that's crazy. So where you have AZ, right, has been living for 3,000 years, and that is his punishment, right? To live forever. But that's almost like, because he never died, that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is Lysandre. When you die, you are resurrected as a zombie, right? Two different ways of immortality.
That's possible. I do think both are possible. I was thinking that Vinny could be like Lysandre, like a cyborg reanimation of Lysandre.
That's fun.
So
but I think Lysandre's
going
to come back. I think Lysandre's going to come back.
I think so as well.
I think he might come back as like the same as AZ. Sorry to cut you off, but like he could have the same punishment as AZ. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. He is now the new AZ. Sure.
Yeah.
But if you're saying that that's true, I guess he could just never die, but it's more unnatural because it is, or I guess maybe it is just as unnatural as AZ, because AZ presumably is living forever and is so tall because he was infused with Mega Energy, I guess. So that actually could be the same thing.
I saw this thing, so I just recently finished my Pokemon X-Lock, and, at the end, when you battle Lysandre and he's buried under the ultimate weapon rubble and believed to be dead, which I've always said, that's like the rule in any kind of movie or show, right? Like, no body, no death. There was no body to Lysandre, like, he's come back. But he has a like cybernetic like enhancement. Like he's got something on his arm, he's got these things. So like the way I would read this is like maybe he is somehow like having to like basically be like part machine, right? Because and you even there's this common trope, I think it's most specifically used in anime, but don't quote me on that. But there's a common trope where they will foreshadow something by like they'll foreshadow a character losing an arm by constantly having that character have like a glove on that arm or like goggles on. Sure. So I could read into like Lysandre's final design in Pokemon X and say he might be, if he returns, he might be missing an arm because he had the gauntlet on his arm, or he might be missing an eye because he has like the goggles over his face. So I mean, you know, I do hope if they bring him back, I do hope. I know it's Pokemon. I know we got to be kid friendly. I'm not asking for anything gruesome.
Yeah, they do some weird stuff. They do some weird stuff.
I hope he is like. He's not just like, hi, I'm Lysandre, I'm immortal now. You know, I want him to like come back and be like, I am like messed up from what happened, you know? Like, I'm alive, but I will never be the same, you know?
I think, I don't think that they're just going to be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
The last two images here are just lines of text, which I think they're from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It says, and they're quotes, couldn't we use the energy to improve the lives of people and Pokemon? Thanks to Infinity Energy, which is Mega Evolution Energy, Devon was able to become one of the top industries in Hoenn.
I think this just ties back to what Lumi was saying about Fight Club. But also, there is the whole Azoth thing, Project Azoth in Oras.
Oras, yeah.
Yeah, so they like wanted to reset the whole world, basically. Through this energy. I mean, you know better than I because I didn't actually play it. I just know from reading things.
Dang it, Soul. You gotta play Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
But yeah, so like that's the whole thing is they wanted to like reset the whole world with Kyogre and Groudon and all of that. I think there could be a similar thing happening with Quasartico. Like they want to reset Lumio City. So this could be that. This could be that whole thing, and it's tied to the promotional matches.
Also, too. Infinity Energy, it's not just like it's not Mega Evolution Energy, it's Mega Evolution uses Infinity Energy, but Infinity Energy is actually life energy. So all Pokemon, even a Pokemon like, you know, I don't know, Sandshrew has Infinity Energy, even though it is not capable of Mega Evolving. Yeah. Because in fact, you know, the first ultimate weapon that was fired by AZ, he killed multiple Pokemon. Yeah. By draining their life force and using that for Infinity Energy. Yeah. So that
absolutely.
Just and point that out to say there could be something even more sinister than just siphoning for sure Mega Evolutions, you know?
Absolutely. And I think based on what you just said, like it's like everything's right, but I guess based on that logic, Sandshrew and Sandslash may be capable of Mega Evolution. It just hasn't been discovered or something, right?
I mean, because every Pokemon that can be said for any Pokemon. I just wanted to say that every Pokemon from Bulbasaur through Petrarant has Infinity Energy.
Is Petrarant the last Pokemon?
Yep.
As of now, yeah.
Okay. What about
and maybe for a while actually.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So I do want to say this is pretty interesting.
I don't know if you want to go on anything else with the Devon Corporation, but if you do, speak now because I'm going to move on to one of the other ones.
Go on. Yeah.
No. Okay. I just wanted to say the Looker and Emma thing. Like we kind of brushed over it, but I think it could be a side quest even, you know? And I was thinking about like, what could a side quest with them be? Well, we could be looking for Looker actually, I think, because she's going to be head of it, right?
Looking for Looker. That's the new Delta episode.
It just makes sense to me that that would be something like that. Obviously,
no, that makes sense too.
Pure speculation, but
in Oris, we see that he washes up on a shore and he doesn't have any memories, and
he's all over the place.
That is, he also, interestingly enough, gives you an Audinite, so you could kind of somehow read into that he was doing something with Mega Evolution. But he,
Unova, probably.
Maybe in Unova, but those things that he shows, him washing up, not knowing how he got there, and losing his memories, are symptoms that a faller experiences. We also know in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon that, and a lot of people think, well, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon take place after Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, so, you know, Looker's story must continue in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but I would argue Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, chronologically, is the last time we've seen Looker, because in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, he and Annabelle are tasked to look for, ultra wormholes and fallers and ultra beasts. So I would argue that what we see in Oris is at some point after the events of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, Looker investigating these wormholes falls through it as well and winds up in Oris. So he kind of went backwards in time, really, as ultra wormholes can do. So that would be cool.
That's gonna be fun.
You're looking for Looker. That would be so cool. I would love that.
Yeah.
I think
anything to bring him back into the fold, I think.
I feel like he should be in it. It'd be really sad if he's not. Like, it's just Emma.
I
love that Emma would be. I love that Emma would be like the main detective, like she should be. But like, he's got to be in it too. To me,
yeah.
Annabelle could appear too, like to help.
Yeah, that would be
for Looker.
Please.
Because like they not only were partners, but also like there was very clearly implied romantic feelings too. So.
We didn't go over it at the beginning, but this is just a rumor thing, and like
obviously, yeah,
but these are
we don't need to see that in every video. It's
I know, but the way
it's
that
gonna
we're
say it in the
about
title. It's gonna
like
say it in the title.
Okay,
it's gonna say it in the title.
The way we're talking about it is like all of these things are like what these are trying to describe in the game, but like some of these things might not be in the game. Like these are just theories that fans have put together here. And they're all like very popular theories, to be honest.
I mean,
like,
that said, play devil's advocate. It could not be a theory, and it could be someone who, has had access to the game and made this. I mean, I don't think it is. If it's on 4chan, I think it's always safe to just go, probably not real. But
we'll see.
I love to look at these for the ideas, because I do think too, like, in a fake leak, like any 4chan leak, if you go back and look at every 4chan leak we've gotten since ZA's announcement, at least one of those will have one mega right. They'll have one plot point right.
For sure, because they're just guesses.
Right.
Eventually,
not always. Sometimes they're legitimate sources.
I mean, sure, but I'm saying even if it's theorizing, sometimes it is. Sometimes you can theorize correctly. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot of darts.
I wrote down like 5 ideas just from this, so that's why it's amazing. But yeah, I feel like you will see these theories pop up more and more in 4chan posts. Yeah. Like all of these individual ones that we just talked about.
I think they're fun. And if you guys like having discussions about the Pokemon games, Legends ZA Generation 10, if you like speculating, talking about the latest leaks, talking about the latest news, well, guess what? This is actually our second channel. This is just our second channel. Our primary channel is Hidden Power Podcast. Link is in the description. We're also on Spotify. We're also on iTunes. It is a proper podcast every single week. We put out, I would say safely, at least 2 hours of content. Whether that's, actually, usually we post
probably more.
Yeah, honestly, probably even more. Usually we post like at least 2 episodes a week. So, if you like this, guess what? There's even more over on Hidden Power Podcast. You can subscribe here. You can subscribe over there. You can join on YouTube as a channel member over there. You can even join on Patreon. But thank you so much, and let us know in the comments what you think the plot of Legends ZA is going to be. We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.